Hey, I hope someone out there can help me figure this out. This was just the craziest thing that just happened. So I'm a flight attendant and I just got to my hotel room and there was no refrigerator. So I called down to the front desk to have a refrigerator sent up. So a few minutes later, the maintenance worker came with the refrigerator and I opened the door and she said, "Oh, didn't you leave?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Well, didn't you leave?" And I said, "Leave where?" And she said, "Well, leave your room. Or are you back?" And I said, "Well, I just got here."
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa, and today's topic is doppelgangers. And before I get into today's topic, this is what I have for the mukbang portion of the video. I made a TikTok inspired bean/cucumber salad. So looks like that. And then I have some sweet and spicy chili Quaker rice puffs. And then as a dessert, because it is my birthday week, some birthday cake cookie dough bites, and my trusty old milk as a beverage. Alright, here we go, and let's go crazy. Go get a spicy snack, and let's get into these spooky videos. And again, today's topic is doppelgangers. Okay, first video.
They say that you're not supposed to see your own doppelganger, right? And that it's supposed to be a bad omen or something bad could happen to you afterwards. Well, someone in my family saw their own doppelganger, and this story is terrifying. It's one of the scariest stories that I've heard any of my family members tell. So if you guys saw the story that I posted 2 or 3 nights ago about my mom's doppelganger, what's so crazy about this story is that it happened to my mom's twin sister's daughter. So it's important to note that a lot of people in my family have seen things. A lot of people in my family have gifts. What to the extent of those gifts, I'm not sure, but everyone has seen something or heard something at some point. My aunt has sleep paralysis horribly. She has her entire life, my mom's twin sister. And she lived in this house at one point, and this house used to freak me out so bad. Now, I never personally saw anything in this house, but I would always have nightmares in this house, and I would never want to go in the basement alone because the basement just freaked me out. But one night, my aunt puts my niece to bed, puts my nephew to bed, and then she goes to sleep. So after my aunt falls asleep, she wakes up in the middle of the night, and she starts to hear what sounds like a radio changing stations. And this is freaking her out a little bit, but then she realizes that she cannot move, and she realizes that she's having sleep paralysis. So what's so creepy about this is that numerous times this has happened to me. The first thing I will hear when I'm about to have a full-blown sleep paralysis attack is I will hear what sounds like a radio changing stations. So she hears this, and then suddenly she starts to feel something crawl slowly
Shakes
on
head.
the bed. First it's hands, then it feels like the knees. And then she can hear this laughing sound, but it's like this deep maniacal laugh. It slowly inches closer towards her. It gets right in her ear, and it goes, Anne. Anne is my aunt's name. So at this point, she's freaking out. Her husband is sleeping next to her, and she's trying her hardest to move. She cannot move. She's trying to wake him up, making any sound she can. She cannot move. As she's trying to fight her way out of this as hard as she can, she suddenly feels whatever this is leap out of her bed, jump on the floor, and run down the hallway. She finally gets out of it, and she sits up, and she's gasping for air, literally terrified her. Even though it was just sleep paralysis, she was like, that just felt real. There was something wrong about that. Now, down the hall is my cousin's room, my little cousin's room. We're just going to call her Mackenzie, and she was 6 years old at the time. She ends up falling back asleep, and nothing happens for the rest of that night, but she does know that she feels like there's something in that house. A couple nights later, she puts my niece and nephew to bed. She goes back to sleep. She wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning again, and she hears my cousin screaming at the top of her lungs. So my aunt goes to get out of bed while my cousin, I keep almost calling her my niece, is running down the hallway, tears pouring down her face. She is absolutely hysterical. My aunt is like, what is wrong? What's wrong? And this is what my cousin tells her. My cousin said that she was laying in bed. She woke up in the middle of the night, and she got scared for no reason. She then looks down at the end of her bed, and she sees something sitting at the end of her bed. At first, she's looking at it, and she's like, is my mom in the room? Is my mom sitting in the bed? She thought that it was my aunt at first. And then it turns its head slowly towards her, and it's her sitting at the end of the bed. She sees herself sitting at the end of the bed. And when it turned its head, it just smiled at her like this.
Oh no.
So she saw herself sitting at the end of her bed, just smiling at her.
Have you already seen this video that's passed 20 million views? The reason it went viral is genuinely unsettling. Imagine standing in an airport, minding your own business, when you suddenly notice someone who looks exactly like you. Same face, same haircut, even the same clothes. That's exactly what happened to this guy. He was sitting at his boarding gate waiting for his flight when his double walked past him just a few meters away. The resemblance was so perfect that people around them started staring. Shocked and confused, the guy did something most people would do without thinking. He took a photo with him. But according to old stories and urban legends, that's the last thing you should do. Seeing your double in the same place is believed to be a very bad sign. And this isn't the only case. Online, there are dozens of similar clips. In one video, a woman goes shopping in a mall and suddenly comes face to face with her double. Different outfits, identical faces, both freeze, clearly shaken before posing for a photo. In another case, a woman walks past a restaurant window and sees herself sitting inside, already staring back at her. So the question is, coincidence, genetics, or something we're not supposed to see?
These are going to be the stories of all of the times I have seen my husband's doppelganger. Now, if you've been here for a while, you've heard all of these because I have been posting it as it's happened for a long time now. But I'm retelling all of my personal paranormal stories so they can have better quality, and I had to include this one. So let's get into it. Also, I have footage of this thing, like actual footage. I'll post this screenshot. I'm actually reposting that video where I called it tonight because I posted the first part of the video maybe it was last night, and I'm going to post part 2 tonight so you can watch that, but I'll also show the screenshot here. For reference, my husband wears a red flannel a lot and has a man bun. Pretty distinguishing features. One morning, I was upstairs getting ready in my bathroom, and the way my house is set up, my bathroom is here, and then there's a bedroom, and then like bathroom stairs. See what I mean? It's like a cross. So I was getting ready with my bathroom door open, and I look in the mirror, or I turned around. I honestly can't remember which I did, because it happened a while ago. But I see my husband standing at the top of his stairs with his back to me. Man bun, red flannel. So I turned back around to keep getting ready, and then I thought of something to ask him, so I turned around to ask him, and he's gone. I didn't hear him go anywhere, but I hear movement in the bedroom, so I go in the bedroom, and he's not even wearing a red flannel. Not only is he not wearing it, it's downstairs, and he couldn't have went to switch it out that fast. Plus, he wouldn't lie. I was pretty freaked out. I've seen this thing numerous times. It always has its back to me. It always has on that red flannel, and here lately I see it in the reflection of things. My husband went to pick up our takeout one night, and I saw it in the reflection of our living room window. He wasn't even home. And stuff like that happens a lot. Now let's get into where I caught footage of it. So for backstory of this video, my family has a really haunted farm, which if you've been keeping up with me or even this playlist, you know. We were gonna go up there, film some skits, try to get some footage, but he had to work earlier that day, so I went up there by myself and he was gonna meet me. So I was trying to film an intro to whatever footage I was gonna capture, and it got interrupted twice. The first video I actually reposted last night, I heard a hey 3 times. Each time it got closer, but there was no one there, there was no movement, like it just got closer. Sorry about my cat, she's a star. So I stopped the filming and then retried it, and I thought I heard my name, and I'm pretty sure I can hear it on the footage, but just in the background, you can see it clear as day. So I'm gonna post a picture of what my husband looks like in the screenshot, and remember to come back at around 6 because I'm gonna repost that whole video.
Okay, write me a comment. Have you ever seen your own doppelganger?
Hey y'all, I'm gonna talk about doppelgangers and mimics. I tried to do the story last night and I just could not get through it. Doppelgangers and mimics are some of my favorite paranormal phenomena. I think they're terribly creepy. So in the simplest terms, a doppelganger is an entity that takes on the appearance of somebody, while a mimic can copy their voice. Sometimes you'll experience both together, but in my experience it's usually separate. And I think they're 2 separate types of entities. Different tricksters, most likely. Wait for the train to pass. There's one evening, I was probably about 17 or so, and I was at the church working. As teenage children of youth pastors do, unpaid labor, all the damn time. I digress. And I was in the office area in this teeny little closet-like space making copies. And I hear my dad calling me from the lobby. My dad's voice is distinct. And he hollered out, "Hey, Bear!" That's my childhood nickname. That's the only thing he called me until I was like an adult. I'm busy making these copies, I'm not really even thinking. I just yell back, "Yes, sir." And my mom calls from back further in the offices, "What are you doing?" I'm still focused on these copies. I say, "Dad called me." And I stop. And all of a sudden it clicks. My dad is TDY on the other side of the country. He ain't calling me from the lobby. We stop what we're doing, do it all good Pentecostal women do, and just start hooting and hollering and praying in spirit and whatnot. I'm just a teenager, but at this phase of my life I was very, very deeply involved in deliverance ministry. I should not have been. It was not wise for the elders of the church to be calling on a teenager to do spiritual warfare. But I was the only one that could see the things. So I was put in a lot of very dark paranormal situations. And when you start to get into the darker side of the paranormal, shit's gonna follow you home. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Now they say if you see your own doppelganger, you're gonna die. I've never seen my own doppelganger, but I have seen my mama's. That was the same week that I heard the mimic copy my dad. Still makes me sick to my stomach.
This video has already hit over 1 million views for a seriously creepy, totally unexplainable reason. Two sisters were in the same room, getting ready to go out for an evening walk with their friends. All of a sudden, the younger sister's laptop gets a video call from an unknown number. They hesitate for a second, but they answer it. And the moment they do, something happens that makes absolutely no sense. On the video call screen, the younger sister appears. The exact same younger sister who is literally sitting in the room right then, watching it all happen on her laptop. They were completely shocked. Their first thought was, okay, this has to be some stupid prank. Maybe even something made with AI, because how else do you explain it? How can the same girl be in two places at the same time? Meanwhile, the girl on the laptop screen is smiling and saying this weird, nonsensical nonsense. But the voice and the facial expressions are exactly like the real girl sitting in the room. The sisters posted the video and asked if anyone could explain what they were even looking at. And that's when some people in the comments confidently said the sisters had run into a real doppelganger.
So this is another picture of this lady. We don't know who she is, and it is not my mom. It's not an aunt. This picture was taken before I was born. This is my cousin Jason. He passed away at 2, sadly, before I was born, and 30 years after him passing, his dad, my uncle, actually passed away on the same date. And that day, my daughter was playing in another room, and I went in and I was talking to her, and she was playing and laughing, and I said, "What are you doing?" And she actually said, "I'm playing with Jason." And at first, I didn't really put two and two together, and then I was like, "Who is Jason?" And she said, "You're Jason, the little one."
Wow.
So, so a couple days later, I was talking with Jason's sister, my cousin, and she told me that her daughter had a similar experience and told her, Jason said you're an acorn head. And we were just trying to figure out what does that mean. And as we're talking, an acorn falls on her head. Yeah. And her kids are the one that found these photos, and they're also the ones that nicknamed me Aunt Bunny.
This girl wrote into Relatos de la Noche because she says she keeps seeing her sister's doppelganger. Am I saying it right? I hope I am. She said that when she first noticed this, she would see her sister go to a room, and then she would see her come from a different way, and she was like, "What the hell, I just saw you go in there." And it kind of escalated from there. There was one time where her mom and her and another sister were in the living room, and she got a little cold, so she was gonna go upstairs and get a sweater. When she went up the stairs, she turned on the lights from the stairs only because she was just gonna grab a sweater really quickly. Once she grabs the sweater, she comes out to the hallway, and with the light from the stairs, she can see into her sister's room, and she said that she can clearly see her laying in bed. She mentioned that she did think it was weird that her sister was asleep, but she didn't really give it that much importance and just went back down the stairs with her other sister and mom. Once she went down there, she got chills all over her body because what she saw was that same sister that was asleep in her room on the kitchen table doing her homework. She did tell her mom then and there what she had seen upstairs, but the mom confirmed that the sister had been at the table for a while now with her headphones in, really focused on her homework, so there's no way that she was up there asleep. She said that after her mom told her that, she really didn't want to read too much into it, and she tried to justify it by just telling herself that maybe since only the stairs lights were on, she thought she saw somebody on her sister's bed. But she also knew that she was kind of trying to lie to herself just so she could feel better and not have a panic about it. However, a few days passed, and this is what the mom experienced. So before I start, I just want to let you know that from the mom's room, she could see 2 of the bedroom doors, and that's for the 2 daughters, the one that's telling us the story and the one that they keep seeing the doppelganger of. And at the end of that, there's also a restroom, which she can see all of this from her room. So the mom says that it was one night where she just couldn't fall asleep and she was tossing and turning, and while she couldn't fall asleep, she saw that the daughter, the doppelganger one, she got out of her room and went into the restroom. At this point, the mom had turned the TV on because she knew she just couldn't fall asleep, and after 15 minutes, she was like, wait, I have not seen her get out of that restroom, so she kind of got a little worried. So the mom goes to the restroom expecting to see her daughter there, but the lights were off. She opens the door and there was nobody in that restroom. So out of curiosity, she's like, I never saw her go back to her room, so let me check. She opens the daughter's bedroom door, and the girl is asleep on her bed. The mom was a little freaked out because there's no explanation as to why she saw her daughter go in, never saw her come out, and then her daughter is fast asleep on her bed. So back to the sister, because she's the one that's writing in this story. She says that something else happened, and it was probably the scariest thing that happened and the last time she saw her sister's doppelganger. It was New Year's Day, and the girl that's writing in, her boyfriend invited her entire family to go spend New Year's with his family, and they did. And they didn't end up coming back home until 4 in the morning. She said that when they got home, everybody went to their bedrooms because it was really late, and well, I guess early, but they were all really tired and they were gonna go to bed. She said before she went to sleep, she went to the restroom and was washing her face, taking her makeup off, and brushing her teeth. She mentions that she didn't close the door because it's not like she was in use the toilet or shower. She was just trying to do everything quickly to go to bed. And that was when she saw her sister pass by and go down the stairs. And she didn't really think anything of it until she realized that her sister never turned the stairs light on. She said that she walked out of the restroom not really thinking about anything but except for why she didn't turn the lights on, and by the time she got to the top of the stairs, her sister was already at the last step, and she lost sight of her when she went into the living room. Once she got to the living room, even though she lost sight of her, she again thought it was weird that she hasn't turned any lights on. She mentions that since her and her sister were little, they always accompanied each other downstairs, or like they never liked to go down there alone. They always keep each other's company, right? So that's what she thought in that moment. She was like, well, let me go with her because I don't know what she's doing, and you know, maybe she needs my company. She's about to go down the stairs as she hears her sister's voice behind her say, what are you looking at? What are you doing? Her real sister had just came out of the bedroom, her bedroom, asking her what the hell she had been looking at and where is she going. She said that she stayed frozen in that moment because she was just about to go down there. She saw her sister walk down those steps, and her sister had just opened her own bedroom door and said, what are you doing?
Write me a comment. Have you ever seen someone else's doppelganger?
Have you ever encountered a doppelganger? Whether you have or not, this story is definitely gonna freak you out. For the sake of the story, we're gonna call her Lily. So one night, Lily was sitting in her driveway getting ready to leave. As she's sitting there, her neighbor happens to pull up in the driveway right next to hers. Being that in order for her to be able to leave, she would kind of have to drive around the back of his car. She didn't want to blind him with her headlights, so she decided to just kind of patiently wait in her car until he went into his house. This man always came home around the same time every night. Like clockwork, he would get out of his car, he would grab his lunch bag, and he would walk through his gate and lock it behind him. Lily knew that in no time he would be in the house, so she decided to just kind of patiently wait. As she happens to glance over at his truck, she sees a man just standing next to it. And I mean, this man just popped out of nowhere. But when this guy walks around the corner, Lily gets a look at his face, and he looks identical to her neighbor, even down to the clothes that he's wearing. As her neighbor is getting out of his truck, this thing comes up from behind him and starts to attack him. But not like your typical attack, it was almost like out of this world. She then sees where her neighbor falls to the ground. The minute he falls to the ground, his whole body disintegrates and just disappears.
Then she sees as the doppelganger starts to kind of rearrange his face to look more like her neighbor, and then just calmly picks up the lunch bag, walks through the gate and into the neighbor's house. Lily just sat in her car completely stunned, too terrified to move, not even sure what she just witnessed. She ended up just pulling out of the driveway and getting the heck out of there. Lily does say that ever since that happened, her neighbor has not been the same. He used to be this very outgoing, lively guy where he would constantly have get-togethers at his house every single weekend. Ever since that took place, this new guy doesn't do any of that. He just stays home all the time. Even his wife has mentioned how he doesn't really like the same type of foods that he used to enjoy. He doesn't watch the same type of shows that he used to enjoy either. Lily says that he's literally like the shadow of the person that he used to be.
So I think I had my first doppelganger experience yesterday. I'm not positive, so let me tell you the whole story and then you can be the judge for yourself. So I'm cat sitting for my friend Taylor, who lives alone with her boyfriend. Sorry, I have hiccups. Lives alone with her boyfriend and her cat. They're on vacation, so I'm cat sitting for them while they're gone. I've done this a bunch of times before. I've been in her house without anyone else many times. I gotta hold my breath, these hiccups are killing me. And nothing notable has ever happened. But yesterday I was chilling on the couch, crocheting, and the cat was just chilling on the floor with me. I didn't have the TV on or anything, I was just sitting there crocheting, and me and the cat both hear a bang from down the hallway. Here's the living room, the kitchen is this way, and then there's like a hallway that goes that way. And we're here, and we heard a bang from the hallway. The cat reacted to it too, so I ignored it. I was like, whatever. So then I was laying there on the couch, and I ended up falling asleep. I was probably asleep for like half an hour when I woke up, and I saw Nick, Taylor's boyfriend, standing in the doorway to go to the kitchen from the hallway. And he goes, "Hey, Brielle." And I was like, "Hey, I didn't even know you were here." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just leaving for work." He's an EMT/firefighter. He was in uniform, and he was like carrying things. It looked like he was headed out the door. I definitely thought it was weird because I didn't think anyone was supposed to be there, but I figured maybe he just hadn't left for work yet that day. I don't know. I know he has weird hours. So I watched him walk into the kitchen and walk out and leave, and I went back to sleep. So then time passes, I wake up again, and I can't remember if this actually happened or if it was a dream, but it was super realistic, whatever it was. I'm genuinely convinced at this point that I saw him, like he was there. When I pulled up to the house, his car was in the driveway. And at the moment, I assumed that, they just left it there and took her car to the airport or whatever. But then after I had seen him in the house, I was like, okay, well, he must not have gone on vacation with them, and he must have just left for work. So then I go to leave. His car is still in the driveway. I was like, right. So I messaged my friend Taylor, and I told her all of this, and she was like, bro, Nick is with us on vacation.
Yo, I'm so shook. I just went into my bedroom and got my phone. Story time. So I came out here a few minutes ago to use the bathroom, and my mom was standing at the sink. Her face was facing the window even though the blinds are closed, and she had her hand on this glass of water that's still sitting here. My mom never drinks water from the tap. It's always bottled water from the fridge. So I called out to her, and I'm like, Mom, and I didn't get a response, which isn't abnormal because she doesn't wear her hearing aids at night. So I went to the bathroom, I come out, she was still standing here, looking toward the window. I was creeped out. I went into my bedroom, got my phone, and I come back out and she's gone. Yo, this is nuts. She's fast asleep in her bed. I don't know how she got here so quickly. Like, she can't even hear me talking.
Hey, I hope someone out there can help me figure this out. This was just the craziest thing that just happened. So I'm a flight attendant, and I just got to my hotel room, and there was no refrigerator. So I called down to the front desk to have a refrigerator sent up. So a few minutes later, the maintenance worker came with the refrigerator, and I opened the door, and she said, "Oh, didn't you leave?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Well, didn't you leave?" And I said, "Leave where?" And she said, "Well, leave your room. Or are you back?" And I said, "Well, I just got here." And she looked super confused. And then she said, "But I brought you a refrigerator yesterday." And I said, "Well, I wasn't here yesterday." And she said, "No, I brought you a refrigerator yesterday to this room." And she's super confused. I'm super confused. And I said, "I literally just got here. I wasn't here yesterday." And now she's kind of freaked out. And she said, "There was someone in this room yesterday that looked exactly like you." And I said, "And she was a flight attendant?" And she said, "Yes. And she looked exactly like you." And I said, "For the same company, the same uniform?" And she said, "Yes, exactly like you." And then she gave me $2 bills. And I said, "Well, that's like," it was just weird. It was just really weird. So she sets up the refrigerator, and I had some tip money in my pockets from the van. So I handed her $2 bills, and I said, "Here, you can take these." And her face just completely changed when she took them. And I said, "What is it?" And she goes, "Well, I wasn't asking for money." I said, No, but you could take these. It's fine." And she just freaked out when she touched them because they were crisp new dollar bills. And she said the lady yesterday had also given her 2 crisp dollar bills. And then at that point, I got goosebumps. And then she literally said, "That's it, I'm out of here." And she left the room. So if somebody could please tell me what that was all about, I'd certainly appreciate it, because I'm a little freaked out staying in this room. If my friend wasn't 2 doors down, I probably wouldn't get much sleep tonight. So please post some comments and help me figure out what this was. Thank you.
Okay, one more video for today.
Story time. And yes, I'm driving because this mess just happened this morning, and I am still trying to process what the heck I just saw. My husband, he goes to work earlier than myself, and most of the time I work from home anyway, but I'm going to the office today. But my husband, he is normally out the house at 5:30. But this morning, he forgot his wallet, so he returned at 6 o'clock, 6:15. And, I spoke to him. I went in the bathroom with him and talked to him because I was trying to figure out why he was there. He gave me his kiss and he left. I got back into bed because I still had an hour before I needed to be up. I get back in the bed. Soon as I doze off, I feel a kiss on the forehead the exact same way that my husband gives me a kiss every single day before he goes to work. I wake up, it's my husband, and he's walking away going to the bathroom. And I'm like, "Hey, you're back again?" But he didn't answer me, and I'm like, I might as well get up anyway because I need to get dressed. But he doesn't respond to me, and he just keeps walking to the bathroom, and it's really, really odd for him to do something like that. So, of course, I get annoyed, and I follow him into the bathroom. But when I get into the bathroom, there is no husband there. And my mind is freaking blown. I just saw a doppelganger, or whatever the heck you want to call it. But that was definitely supposed to be my husband. It gave me a kiss. I felt it, and I saw the back of him. He wore the same uniform that my husband wears to work, and he walked into the bathroom. I followed, but when I got into the bathroom, there was no one there.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. Again, write me a comment. Have you ever seen your own doppelganger? Have you ever seen somebody else's doppelganger? What do you think of the whole phenomenon itself? I would love to hear your guys' doppelganger stories, and stay spooky, and I will see you next time. Bye!
I've been tagged in this one a bunch. Let's watch it.
Did you find any? Okay? Well, I've got some in the fridge. You can have that. We'll go to the toilet then. I need a pee, sorry, I've had too many Diet Cokes. You can have some of this. There you go. Don't be long, because I need one. Oh. Oh, thank you. Oh, then, yeah, put it there. Yeah, you can have it, it's up to you. I put it there. Yeah, you can have it, it's up to you. Yeah, you can have it, it's up to you.
Oh.
Guys? Guys? What are you doing out there? Eh? I'm just going out of the fridge, you got the fuck up. I've just got it out of the fridge for you.
Mum, Dad, I've just come back from the freezer to get some pork.
You said you didn't have any down there.
What? What are you going on about?
I've just had a conversation with you about it. Are you...
What?
Are you joking, aren't
Are you
you?
taking the piss? You're taking the piss.
Ah,
What?
this.
I haven't had a conversation with you. I've just been down to the freezer.
You're taking the
No,
piss,
I'm
eh?
not. I'm not taking the piss. You can see it there.
You just come in,
Yeah?
you went to the bog.
No. I haven't been to the toilet. I went down to the freezer to get some pork.
It's Doppelgänger. It's gotta be. Hey, you're not pissing. You're definitely wearing the same shit.
Taking the piss.
No, honestly, I'm not joking.
What?
You came in, I asked you, did you get your pork? You said no, you couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to go to the loo and I told you, hurry up.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you came out, I even had to shuffle past you.
What?
I went to the loo,
Yeah.
you went to the loo,
No, I didn't, but okay.
you went to the loo, the door closed open, the door closed open.
Yeah.
I went past you, I went to the loo, come out and you disappeared and I shouted at you, I thought you got in there.
No, I've been down to the freezer.
So you haven't been up once before,
No.
though? This is the first time you come out of the freezer?
Yeah. Did you not see me go out?
Yeah, I know you went out.
Yeah.
What do you mean did not see you go out?
Well, I'm so confused.
I saw you go out the first time.